Chris, I believe you're on here. Yes. If you'll go ahead and unmute. Chris is with America's First Federal Credit Union and is one of our trustees. We are so grateful to have him in our chamber. He's going to lead us with an invocation. Will be followed by the pledge, which John Henley, right here in the room with me, is going to do. So, Chris, if you would lead our invocation.
Thank you so much. Let us pray. God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this time to come together as the city of Vestavia. God, we thank you for our leadership that's in place, every business owner, every employee from senior management to entry level. God, we ask that you lay your hands of blessings on the city of Vestavia. Give us knowledge and insight and wisdom. God, we thank you that even as the world continues to change, we thank you that these businesses here in Vestavia are not surviving, but they're thriving, and business will continue to come. But overall, you may get the glory, you may get the honor, and you may get the praise. Thank you for everyone that's on this call. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Chris.
You will please join me in the reciting of the pledge. Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it. At this time, I have a couple of quick announcements I'm going to share with you. And you can find all of these dates on our website, and I hope you will participate in as many of these as you can. We are going to, next week, trying to get people back into our retail stores. We're going to have a focus on shop, dine, play, local. And we start off on Thursday, the 19th, with a tree lighting up at Vestavia City Center called All is Bright. I'm really excited about that. If y'all have not been up there recently, you have a real surprise in for you. It's beautiful. They've done a great job out in the center part, and new businesses are moving in there. So we've got some fun things going on there. On Friday, the 20th, that's November 20th, we have Rockin' Christmas Carnival at Rocky Ridge. And there's going to be music, bands, food. It's a great evening planned, and it starts at 6 till 9 at Rocky Ridge, and it's the businesses in both shopping center, there's Rocky Ridge Square and Plaza, and then Oak Park up across the street. So it's all of those businesses in that area, so be looking for information on that. And then we'll move on to Cava Heights on Saturday from 2 until 8 is Deck the Heights. So y'all please come out, shop these businesses. You know, it's been so hard for them to survive. It's much easier to retain a business than it is to recruit new businesses. So please support these people for the holiday shopping and just throughout the year. And we're going to, you hear about the National Shop Small. And I think I know Mayor Curry and the council issued a proclamation to which John Henley received on our behalf last night, declaring November National Shop Small Month. Did I say that right?
You did.
Shop Small Month. So we're going to be focusing on our businesses for the whole month of November, and please support them and let them know how much you appreciate them. Then we'll move in on December 1. The city will have our official tree lighting at City Hall at 6 o'clock. We want you all to join us. It will be outside on the lawn, and that will be a fun time to celebrate with our city, our many blessings. Then we have a ribbon cutting on December 10th, a new business opening in Dolly Creek Station, Altadena Eye Care. And Dr. Harrington is excited to share that and celebrate with us on her grand opening. It's at noon. And then we will have our annual breakfast with Santa, and probably will be the last one here in the Dogwood Room. John Henley has done this for many years. I keep forgetting how many, but it's a lot of years. He and his team, and it's free, 7:30 till 10. So mark that on your calendar. And then the next day we will celebrate with a Christmas parade in Liberty Park. And if you're interested in being in part of the parade, on our website, you can go to our events tab and you will find information there under Holiday in the Hills. So I hope you will join us at all of these events and bring your family and have fun celebrating our community. So any questions, be sure and let us know. But like I said, these will be on our website. So we hope you will join us on all of those. At this time, I would like to thank our sponsor for the month. We are so delighted to have Progress Bank as such an incredible partner. They have been since they opened and are one of our chamber champions. And Clay Dobbs, who is one of their business bankers, is going to share with us some of the things that they have to offer. Clay, we are grateful for you all and thank you for your support of the chamber.
Absolutely. Thank you, Karen, for having me. I hope everyone can hear me okay. I'm still getting used to this, not in person, but Zoom sharing here. And I'm looking very forward and very excited, especially as a Birmingham Boys Choir alum, to our December meeting and being with those guys again. But obviously this month, we are the Chamber Luncheon sponsor, and we're proud to serve as that host. And part of that is that we try to visibly demonstrate our commitment to the Vestavia community. A couple ways is when we first came to market 3 years ago, we merged with a longstanding Vestavia bank, First Partners Bank, and blended the two concepts into a bank that truly has tried to be a community liaison and meet the Vestavia businesses and the Vestavia individuals where they are and create those tailor-made banking solutions that so many people are often looking for. Obviously proud of the work we've done over the last 3 years, but this year specifically, in the Vestavia market alone, we did over 230 of the PPP loans, resulting in about $9 million of help that we were able to give to local Vestavia businesses to keep things going as we were incented to try to shop, dine, and play in Vestavia. I would say over 70% of our entire Birmingham market staff are either residents or involved with the chamber in some way in Vestavia. And we also are one of trying to be the preferred partner for the chamber in some of their endeavors as well. So with all that said, our biggest focus is obviously being right there in the Vestridge Shopping Center, a visible spot on 31, easily accessible to many of the clients and businesses there in town, and then trying to also deliver the bank to the customers where they are. We realize in this era of COVID-19 precautions as well as convenience, we have a great treasury management suite of products, other ways we can deliver the bank to individuals. We also have expanded our footprint where we now extend all the way from Huntsville through Florence and Decatur and the Huntsville area all the way down to the Santa Rosa Beach, Inlet Beach, and Destin offices. So we're now up to 11 branches totaling over $1.5 billion in assets. And we have experienced a lot of that growth because of the commitment and partnership with our Vestavia friends. We've grown the right way over the last 3 years. We've done it just right there, being involved with the community and trying to make sure that we partner with our Vestavia residents and our Vestavia businesses so that we provide a quality product that also delivers the best return and the best tailor-made banking solutions to those individuals. So as we continue to focus through this month, especially as we prepare ourselves tomorrow to focus on Veterans Day, and as we get to the end of the month with the greatest holiday of thanks, we are very thankful that Vestavia has embraced us when we came to market 3 years ago. We're very thankful that Vestavia continues to partner with us and lets us do things like sponsor this luncheon, as well as be involved with the various Vestavia businesses and residents to help take their banking needs to the next level and work with them on their future short-term and long-term goals. We also, in addition to the business end and all the SBA lending and the PPP lending we did, we also have a lot of residential services to offer. We have a Vestavia resident that is a mortgage banker. So if you're looking to buy or refinance a house in the Vestavia area through some of our Vestavia realtors and fellow chamber partners, we can help there. And we also have Progress Financial Services helping individuals evaluate where they are currently, where they're looking to take their long-term financial goals. So once again, as we close out a very interesting and challenging year of 2020 and get ready to turn forward to 2021, we at Progress pride ourselves on thinking forward. And we hope that as we think forward with the Vestavia community, that we can help you make progress through your financial goals as well. So thanks again for letting us sponsor. Karen, I'll turn it back over to you.
Clay, thank you so very much. We're again grateful for the partnership. Y'all are always there when we need anything, and we look forward to many more years to come. So thank you. And at this point, I'm going to turn it over to John Henley for a few announcements before we introduce Doug.
Thank you, Karen. As she said, my name is John Henley, and I'm with John Henley State Farm Insurance here in Vestavia Hills. First of all, I want to thank Clay and Progress Bank for being our sponsor today. I also want to acknowledge and thank all of our chamber champions, who are the individuals and businesses that are participating in our chamber at the highest possible level. Also our trustees, and I would be remiss if I did not continue to thank our board this year for all their hard work during this year, as well as Karen and all of our staff here at the chamber. 2020 has been an interesting year, to say the least, with many challenges, and we're continuing to power forward, and I'm looking very much forward to an in-person luncheon in December if we can pull that off. As many of you have attended our past November luncheons, we have always tried to highlight or spotlight our veterans. Unfortunately, we're not able to do that in person during this meeting, but again, thanks to all of our veterans and for anyone that has served in the military, whether it's in the Air Force, the Army, the Coast Guard, the Marines, or Navy. Again, thank you for your service to our country. What you have done over the years is continue to allow us to be a free country and to continue to meet like we do here today. So again, if you know someone that's been in military service or know someone that is a veteran, please be sure to reach out to them and thank them for their service, because it is truly what makes our country the greatest on earth. And with that, I will turn it back over to Karen, and thank you very much for allowing me to be here today.
All right, thank you, John. And if there are any of you on the call that are military, retired military, and I see some that I know are, thank you for your service. So we are grateful for all of you and what your commitment to our country. At this time, I would like to introduce James Robinson with Spire. He serves as our Vice Chair of Programming, and he is going to do an introduction for Doug Neal right now. James?
Thank you, Karen. Good afternoon. Again, I'm James Robinson with Spire. Today, we are delighted to have as our luncheon speaker, Doug Neal. Doug earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in economics from Davidson College in North Carolina and a master's degree in international business from the University of South Carolina in Columbia. In 2005, Doug joined Daniel Corporation as Vice President of Marketing and Development. During his tenure with Daniel, Doug's work has resulted in over $500 million of new development projects. Currently, Doug serves as Vice President of Development and Consulting with Daniel Communities. Doug's professional and civic involvement include the Urban Land Institute, the Economic Development Association of Alabama, the International Council of Shopping Centers, and the Alabama-Germany Partnership. Please join me in welcoming Doug Neal.
All right, Doug, all yours, and I'm going to start sharing the screen.
And thank you very, very much. And to all who are joining us, Clay, thank you for your support. John, thank you for your gracious opportunity to speak. On behalf of Drummond Companies, on behalf of Daniel Communities, LLC, and on behalf of Liberty Park Joint Venture, let me first thank you all for allowing us to be here to talk a little bit today about the future of Liberty Park. Karen, is your screen up? I'm not seeing.
I just put it back up.
There we go.
Yeah.
What I'd like to do today, and thank you all for your time, is walk you through just a few select slides that I think will give you an overview of maybe a small walk down the history of Liberty Park, but more importantly, how we choose to go forward. The Bray looks at building on a legacy of Drummond and development and the success of Liberty Park. And what we're talking about here is how do we write the final chapter? Liberty Park is obviously a magnificent community. As you look back at the history over the past 30 or so years, it creates a unique opportunity for us to chart the path and write the final chapter of this story. Next slide, please.
Oh, sorry, let me get there you go.
Ironically, as we began to look back over this, I pulled this exhibit from one of the early annexation agreements. I believe this was in 1996. And the property, generally speaking, that we're talking about is roughly 700 acres, known as the Bray. You can see at one point in time, this property contemplated the development of a 1.2 million square foot mall and as much as 7.5 million square feet of office commercial development. The challenge is, as that project did not materialize and did not move forward, and as the interchange that was contemplated did not seek the ability and was not approved in terms of its ability to be constructed, we look at how do we update the plan, how do we take advantage of all the momentum that's been built and the sense of community that exists at Liberty Park, and how do we take advantage of the opportunity to create a new vision and one that is designed to serve the community for the next 50 years. Next slide, please. Looking at the overall goals of the program, we have several foundational elements in terms of attempting to create long-term value for the city. One, support the long-term values for Liberty Park and Vestavia Hills by truly transforming Liberty Park into a community of choice and making sure that that community is poised to support a changing marketplace, extend and expand the offering of residential offerings so that we have multi-generational options that allow those to be a part of this community really at any lifestyle stage that they may happen to be in. Expand the diversity of the product offerings to really align with that market and position it to be the community of choice. One of the real opportunities, in our opinion, is to truly create a town center at Liberty Park that affords the residents the amenities, parks, dining, retail, and all the services of a world-class community, and allowing that to exist within the community itself so that folks are not required to leave the community to pursue dining, hospitality, shopping, and the likes. And then finally, promoting that town center and the variety of options so that we have the ability to attract new job growth and Class A office properties to Liberty Park. Next slide, please. If you look, generally speaking, this is a current map of the Liberty Park Conceptual Master Plan. Generally speaking, we're focused on the areas to the left of the screen, I believe, that are shown in light blue, roughly 700 acres. The Bray Town Center, as you can tell in this plan and in this vision, was much more constrained and really limited to the grocery component. One of the things that we wanted to look at in revisiting this, which we've had the chance to do over the last 5 or 6 months, is to really think through the needs of the community, both today and going forward, and then also looking at the things that may not have been conceived as part of the original vision, but that would position the community to serve its residents for the foreseeable future. Part of that is truly expanding and the development of a true urban core. Next slide, please. If you look at that area at the current map, this is the conceptual plan of the Bray, and it shows to the top of the screen generally in the location and building off of the grocery store, the Publix that has just opened, a true town center that would offer a full range of amenities for the residents, create that density and that sense of place, and also the hub of economic activity. And then as we ease away from the town center, beginning to introduce in lowered density settings, a residential element that takes advantage and includes green space, trails, and connectivity, as well as park amenities. Next slide. Generally speaking, in creating our vision for a community of choice, the program was to develop a plan that offered a true live, work, play community that offered the full scale of amenities with a functional lawn, a center amenity area, diversity of housing products, and the ability to attract retail and commercial development. On this plan, generally speaking, to the top of the plan, you see a couple of what would be pink boxes that are reflective of where we see Class A office space being located. Directly across from that plan, you would see a luxury boutique hotel bounded by and bounded by retail and village scale commercial on both sides. A central element of the plan includes the Great Lawn, which would connect all elements of the town center and provide a very vibrant and active event space where you could host, for example, Christmas tree lightings, Easter egg hunts, Halloween on the Green, concerts, movie nights, farmers markets, and the types of things that you would normally see as part of a town center. You see an introduction of townhomes, of village cottages. You see a health component, as well as multifamily and senior housing. Again, then as we ease to the south, you begin to see moving more into your traditional residential. Next slide, please. Here, what is depicted is really a bird's eye view looking back into the town center. If you look at number one, you would actually see the main entrance into the town center, which would bring you facing to the boutique hotel with retail and commercial lining the streetscape and creating a very active and vibrant entryway into the town center. Beyond the hall, number three is identified as the Great Lawn, if you will, that would serve as a central connecting point for the town center. Fronting onto that Great Lawn would be restaurants and specialty retail. We see space for general businesses such as dentists or insurance agents or other users. At the far end of the lawn, we're envisioning medical office. As we look to the rear of the hotel, you see a group of cottages that would provide a product for those wishing to perhaps downsize, but also look to have access to the town center and potentially walking distance to points of interest, including the grocery store and the restaurants. 9 is reflective of multifamily, luxury multifamily that would give people not only designed to support young professionals who are likely working at Liberty Park, but would also give an opportunity for those who are investing and joining the community to have a place to establish themselves as their homes are being constructed. And then finally, we see an element in number 10 of active adult and senior housing. Next slide, please. Here we've done an elevation of the entrance into the project. Again, you can begin to see elements and visioning cues of the hotel, the active and engaged streetscape, the retail and the restaurants spilling out onto the main entrance into the town center. Next slide. Here we see an image viewing almost from really the far, what I would call the far end of the Great Lawn, looking back possibly from the medical offices back towards the hotel in the far distance. The multifamily is referenced on the left-hand side of the park, and then on the right-hand side, you see the restaurants and village retail, all connected via sidewalks and pedestrian connectivity. Truly a place where people wish to congregate and create an active urban true town center in the concept of traditional neighborhood design. Next slide. One of the key things I think that will be instrumental in the implementation and success of the property is really a series of design guidelines. And while these are in the process of being drafted, the intent will be to provide strong visual cues that the architectural review community will have to incorporate and ensure that the development plans meet the design standards of the community across all really of the asset classes, whether it be the hospitality, the cottages, the parks and green spaces, or the office and commercial. Again, a tool to ensure long-term value and long-term quality. Next slide, please. Again, the purpose of the design guidelines would be to ensure that architectural and design integrity is carried out throughout the community, and the standards that are set are maintained throughout the existence of the community. Next slide. Another piece of the puzzle that we've looked at is understanding the needs of on the civic side, and we're contemplating making property available to allow for the city to have available for its needs in terms of uses, whether that be expansing of sporting fields or municipal facilities that might need to be, or providing flexibility to the schools perhaps if there are needs elsewhere within the system. I think we're anticipating this property will be generally situated adjacent to the athletic complex, and again is intended at roughly 65 acres to be utilized as the city sees and deems fit in order to support the growth of the anticipated growth of the community. Next slide. One of the key elements I think that we've had to, that's very important to consider is what's the value of the impact of the development. What we've tried to do is understand the financial impacts that are generated from investment. Communities grow through the ability to attract capital investment and create jobs. And in looking at the overall development plan, it contemplates an overall capital investment over the next 10 to 12 years in excess of $850 million. Obviously, the hotel, the retail, and the commercial values, the multifamily, the senior housing, the cottages, daycare facilities, healthcare, and then obviously the residential component of it. From a timeline and a perspective, I think it would be our expectation that we would be able to deliver the town center and the urban core and complete the development of that within the next 24 to 36 months. And that the entirety of the community, including the balance of the residential, would likely be delivered within the next 10 to 12 years. Next slide. The importance of this project is taking those investments, looking at the revenues that are generated from those, from both a mix of the ad valorem taxes, the school taxes, sales taxes, lodging taxes, building permit fees, taxes on materials, and understanding how those revenues flow through the municipality, and ensure that we have revenues that are being generated by the project to provide the support for the schools and city services. Again, if you'll date back or remember back to the original slide, at one point in time, we contemplated a very large 1.2 million square foot regional mall that would provide revenues to support the development of this community. That mall, unfortunately, did not locate here. It located across the highway at the summit. While it serves all of us in the community very well, the principal element of incorporating a commercial component and a strong town center and urban core was to also allow the ability to generate revenues that will support the need for services over the coming years. Overall, we're projecting in the next 25 years that the development of this project would generate approximately $230 million of net new tax revenues. And of that, approximately $117 million would be available to provide financial support to the schools, both on an ongoing basis and to the extent that new facilities might be needed in some capacity. Clearly, we see some level of residential growth, and through this level of residential growth, we've tried to project children and how the school system would be impacted in discussing with Dr. Freeman and anticipating that. I believe that the school system currently has capacity in its system, and we believe that with the revenues that are projected here, plus the capacities that exist, the school system will have more than adequate ability to serve the needs of both existing students and future students that are developed through the community. And we will work very, very closely with the school board and the city to project those impacts and then make sure that we are prepared to meet those impacts. Next slide, please. At the end of the day, the vision for Liberty Park is to maximize the true potential for the retail, hospitality, restaurants, and commercial development, and thereby maximize the value of your commercial properties to support the community. The plan, I think, provides an expanded offering of residential programming that will complement the existing housing stock, but more importantly, introduce new opportunities for folks that will allow a broader and complete mix of residential options within Liberty Park. I think it tries to consolidate the development of densities into the town center and core to put around common services and creates a very walkable component of the community. It expands the offering of public parks, which would be acceptable and available and used by the communities. And then finally, I think it is designed explicitly to minimize the long-term impact on schools and provide revenues to support the future growth of the community. At the end of the day, we've done our very best to try to maximize the revenue and fiscal impact for the schools and the public services so that the city, the development, and the community overall thrive. When we talk about planning, there's really, it's important that we develop sustainable communities. Sustainability takes them, at least in our mind, the form of environmental sustainability. There is social sustainability, and then also there is fiscal sustainability. You really have to have all three long-term to balance the needs of a community. Next slide. As part of this process, we will be, and I think are looking at a series of open houses to begin to introduce the vision and the plan to the community. Tentatively, those dates, as we speak right now, would be November 16th and 17th, next Monday and Tuesday, November 23rd, the following Monday, I think the Monday before Thanksgiving, and November 30th would be the Monday after Thanksgiving, with the intent of trying to walk through the overall development plan, solicit input and feedback from residents and members of the community, and to the extent we can incorporate those ideas into our planning process, and then hopefully allow the opportunity to move forward with the development. Next slide. Put this quote up because I think it's very important when you look at large scale projects that are transformative. In my opinion, what Drummond has done has been transformative for this area. Liberty Park has clearly made the city of Vestavia Hills a better community. And in our opinion, the ability to finish this chapter is very important. And This quote seems to epitomize that you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. I think when we talked a little bit about Liberty Park, it may also be probably even a more poignant thought process is it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And I think that parable and what many of my coaches always ingrained into me is that it is about how you finish, and we are honored to try to write the final chapter of this story and share that with the residents and, more importantly, the community as a whole. Next slide. I put this in for my favorite lawyer. It basically says we believe to the best of our ability that this project, like Patchwork Farms and others that we have done, can be delivered. And if we did not believe that this project could be delivered in the way we presented it, we wouldn't be here. Next slide. I'm not sure how best to do this. Karen, you're probably far better than I am at managing exercises, but to the extent that there are a few questions, would be happy to try to address. And more importantly in all, thank you all for your time, your input. Welcome your ideas. Feel free to shoot me an email or shoot Karen an email. And if there are questions, ideas, or thoughts, certainly welcome that input. And more importantly, hopefully ask for your support.
Doug, I think one's just popped up here. If it's okay, if you have a question, if you will submit it via, oops, sorry, I just went off. If you'll submit it in the Q&A, I will read them out to, Doug, you may be able to see them if you see the Q&A, but I'll go ahead and read to you what approvals will be required by the city and Board of Education for this project to move forward.
Clearly, both the city and the Board of Education will be reviewing the project. We'll be working with both to address questions. The changes will be probably evident both. There will be a revision and amendment to the annexation agreement to address this type of development, which was not contemplated 30 years ago when Liberty Park was originally planned. And it really allows us to create or call the audible, given that the mall is not likely to ever be developed as a part of the plan. And in our opinion, we think that's a blessing. We think this is a much better community orientation. There will also be some changes that are required to the PUD document. The original plan did not envision buildings oriented in this way with street fronts, setbacks, and so much in keeping with the city's PUD ordinances, we think that the amendments will allow for this project to be developed as we've envisioned it.
Thank you. Question comes up, graphics don't show any parking areas. What provisions are there for parking?
Clearly on this screen, you'll see that there's notice that there is surface parking that's integrated around the retail that leads up to the Publix. There is parking provided for in this plan. There is parking that is located within the buildings and the parking for the hotel. Whoops.
Sorry.
There is parking situated obviously on the street fronting the Great Lawn. Whoops.
It's me. I'm trying to go to the wrong thing. There we go.
There is parking situated in the front of the restaurants and behind in those certain cores. And then if you look at the senior housing and the multifamily, you'll see actually that the parking is contained within the confines of the buildings, and the building are wrapping parking. So that we expect that there would be more than adequate parking built into the overall design across the street from what we're looking at. You'll also see excess parking that will be afforded for the office uses that are anticipated. Those office uses typically free up parking in the evenings and on weekends.
And it is a walkable community, so the hope is that sidewalks are utilized. So.
Yeah, I think John, the number, but I think we have a significant number of homes that are within 5 minutes of walking just from the town center. And then there will be, as we develop the residential intent to connect through trails, spaces so that those communities will have walking and potentially trails that allow for connectivity.
Good deal. Any other questions out there? Doug, you obviously did a very good job. Hope here's hey, somebody asked, it's already been talked about. Did you mention the impact of the school system? And that was part of the presentation. So we
Yes,
won't.
like I said, I think if I remember correctly, the revenues that are expected to be generated through the schools, predominantly from the ad valorem taxes in schools, should approximate about $117 million over the next 25 years.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions? How many students is what they're asking? What are the projections on students?
Right now, we're projecting roughly 1,000 students, and that projection comes from working with Dr. Freeman on the Liberty Park side of town. I believe for individual single individual single dwelling units, residential dwelling units, the average per student per household is 0.77. I believe in Old Vestavia, it's 0.44. Based upon that number, we're projecting roughly 1,000 students throughout the completion would be added to the overall residential mix. We will, and I anticipate we will continue to work with Dr. Freeman, the school board, and their demographer to make sure that the revenues are more than adequate to provide resources necessary to meet the needs of the additional schools. If I read the school report correctly, I believe they're currently at roughly 75% of capacity. So I believe there is some flexibility as to how they choose to address that. Our goal is going to be to let the experts make those decisions, and that I don't believe that the 1,000 students would, in essence, expand the capacity, but work with them to help them solve that puzzle in whichever way they deem is most appropriate.
Good deal. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, Doug, they've had an ample opportunity. Thank you for all of your work on this. I have been around a long time. Remember when that first mall was proposed, and it's been a long time coming. This looks like a beautiful plan. I know it's something y'all spent a lot of time and put a lot of thought into. So we're excited about this opportunity and to see how it evolves. If there's anything we can do to help with that, we're ready, willing, and able. It looks like it's a beautiful, beautiful design. So thank you for taking the time to share with us today. If anybody has any questions, feel free to send them to me and I'll send them on to Doug. And we thank you for spending time with us today and sharing this with us.
Karen, George, thank you all very much for giving us the opportunity. John, for giving us the opportunity. And again, as questions may arise, please don't hesitate to ask us. I think what we've tried to do is we've looked at some of the best that our community has to offer in terms of town centers. We believe that we have combined, hopefully, the plan that we have here today represents the best of all of them. And our goal will be to work very hard to position Liberty Park as really the foremost mixed-use master plan community in the country.
Well, you've done a great job. So thank you for sharing that with us and with our chamber members. We're certainly grateful for that. I'm going to make again my question to you. Some of you were on early. You've already answered, but if you were not on, we're looking at having our December luncheon in person at Vestavia Country Club on December 8th with the Birmingham Boys Choir as entertainment. If you think you would attend, if you would send me a note in the chat before, if you have not already done so, before you hang up so I can get a feel for that, that would be great. just trying to get an idea on that. I want to thank again Progress Bank for sponsoring our luncheon this month and for being a big supporter of the chamber. Excuse me. Again, I want to thank all of the veterans out there, and tomorrow we want to be sure and see any you see to tell them how much we appreciate their service, not just tomorrow, but every day. And I'm going to end the call. Again, Doug, thank you for sharing with us, but this is a tribute to veterans. Some people live an entire lifetime wondering if they have made a difference in the world. A veteran doesn't have that problem. That came from President Ronald Reagan. So thank you all for being here, and I'll look forward to seeing y'all. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and you know, stay safe. So thank you all.